Yeah.
Hey guys, what's up? Zach Evanish here, GetWrestlingStrength.com, and I got an email here from Patrick, and he's got questions regarding using cross country to become a better wrestler. So let's check it out. He had a couple of questions and comments, and I'm going to breeze through them here. So number one, he says he doesn't run cross country. He actually hates it. And then he goes into talking about here and there he will do a distance run, such as a 5K event. Now, here's my answer to that. Because I often talk about how long distance running exclusively will literally, it's like the kiss of death. It will kill your ability to gain strength, speed, and to develop muscle. And when you look at wrestling, it's an explosive sport. It's a power endurance and a strength endurance sport. It also, of course, requires a high technical skill of wrestling and mental toughness. So, my answer is once a week distance running, a 3-4 mile run is absolutely fine. But exclusively running distance will hurt you. Now, when we do run sprints, we're talking about quarter mile, half mile, things of that nature, hill sprints, stadium sprints. We do that with incomplete recovery. So we don't do it and just train for power. So if you were just training for power, you might run these short distances or do these explosive bouts of activity, and then you may end up wrestling 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes of rest. A wrestler doesn't need to rest that much. You need the power endurance. So you're going to rest maybe 50% of what you actually need, even less. So he said a kid on his team weighs 168, wants to go 71, and he believes that the way to have a successful wrestling season is to run cross country and not to strength train besides doing daily push-ups. So here's what I said to Patrick. I go, look, dude, don't waste your time worrying about what other kids on the team want to do. And on the flip side, look at some of the best wrestlers in New Jersey or the best wrestlers in general. They are not preparing to become better at wrestling by running cross country. Very few become better through cross country. Do some great wrestlers run cross country? Yes. Do the majority run cross country? No. None of the kids I train at the Underground Strength Gym run cross country. What do? We wrestle. They wrestle and they lift. Okay? Some of them play soccer, which I'd rather see soccer or football as opposed to cross country. Soccer is explosive. A lot of agility, a lot of footwork, a lot of explosive bouts. Football gets you mentally and physically tougher with all the hitting and all the sprinting. Those two activities I would recommend hands down over cross country. Look at cross country runners. I don't see any of them looking physical or having the physical strength that has a great carryover to wrestling. So here's what his friend said to him. He has big legs. He thinks it's genetic. He has these monster calves, which he believes is genetic as well. And he's, very stocky. He goes, of course, when I wrestle him, he overpowers me. Although he is 20 pounds heavier than me. Even by third period, he says, oh, my body's killing me. Yet he's like, man, but he somehow stays intact. So Patrick is getting a little bit confused here as to why this kid, could wrestle so well and run in cross country. Wrestling is not based on just how strong you are or how explosive you are. To be a great wrestler, you need to be a great wrestler, period. You need to have the skills. I tell this to kids all the time. You need to marry the strength and the power training and the proper conditioning that we use at Get Wrestling Strength with improvement of your wrestling skills, wrestling technique. The other thing I told Patrick is he's been following exclusive body weight training. He's, always complaining about how he can't get a barbell. He can't afford a barbell. Go to a garage sale. I'm sure that probably some older people in the neighborhood have old barbells collecting dust and rust in their garage. Go mow their lawn in exchange for their barbells. Okay? So Patrick says he's here wrestling, and he said an alumni comes, took second in the county. This alumni was a county runner-up, third in the district, qualifier for regions, and he said that Patrick was talking about cross-country running being bad. So the alumni said that's the stupidest shit he's ever heard, which is great. And he goes, the alumni quoted that the Phillipsburg wrestling team has their kids running cross country as a mandatory activity if they are not playing football. And of course, Peaburg is used to definitely be a powerhouse. They still are a top team, not as they used to be, but I would rather see them playing football or soccer. Like I said, the other thing about the Phillipsburg wrestling team is I'm guaranteed that those kids are lifting year round. They wrestle year round. That is a wrestling town. They have amazing support from parents and coaches and just, a booster club. That is a wrestling town. When you come from a town like that, and I'll give you a great example, is the Howell wrestling team. Howell was one out of two teams that competed at the GMC wrestling tournament. Those kids wrestle year round in club. They go to other clubs. Howell created their own wrestling club. They bring alumni and coaches in from outside. These kids lift year round. It is a committed program year round. Of course they're going to be great. It has nothing to do with the fact that they're running cross country. And I'll tell you that the majority of Howell kids are not running cross country. The other thing that this alumni told Patrick is that sprinting is a natural ability in the long run. You can get faster, but to a certain extent, only to a certain extent, therefore cross country won't impede your speed. Let's take two guys. One guy trains for speed, he sprints and plays football. The other one runs cross country. The one who trains for speed is going to end up being faster unless he's just from the get-go, a kid that's just not strong and was never strong from the get-go. Sprinting and speed is all about force development. The ability to produce force comes from somebody being strong and having explosiveness. How do you get that? You get stronger and you train for power, speed and strength. So here's another example. He's talking about, okay, this kid rarely strength trains. His cross country has him lifting 10-pound dumbbells. Do I approve of this? No, I don't. Let's take a look at the wrestlers of Blair Academy. So he was saying, oh, the Phillipsburg wrestling team would crush my wrestling team. Of course they would. The town that you're from does not wrestle year-round. They don't have a committed program, a committed booster club. All your kids aren't going to wrestling clubs. Let's look at Blair. They're not doing cross-country running. Some of those kids play football, some play soccer, some do cross-country run. But what do the majority of them do? They lift and wrestle year-round, period. And that's why they're great at what they do. So if we're looking at people's success, I don't think we want to say that cross-country is what brings them the success. Why are you successful on the mat? You are a great wrestler, and you've developed your physical body for what wrestling needs. Plain and simple, okay? And I think that's pretty long enough for this thing. I hope that sends the message home that if you have the option and you want to do something in the fall, I would like to see you doing football or soccer. Preferably, I like to see kids playing football, and I'm going to tell you why. Mainly, if you're not mean, if you're not a physical person, football is going to raise your ability to be more physical on the mat. If you need more conditioning, feel free to play soccer, but that doesn't mean dismiss your strength training. All right, Zach Evnesh, GetWrestlingStrength.com, WorkoutsThatWin.com, TrainToPin.com. I hope that helps and dispels some of the myth of cross-country running and wrestling. Peace out.